Nana Chairman, I would like to ask your permission to stand on existing protocol because there are so many people here, distinguished, that if I try to acknowledge them all, I am sure I will not be able to do justice to it. I'm here to talk about family. However, Atta Mills, the family man. Talking about family, there are a few people, though, that I would like to especially acknowledge. Number one, family. Professor Mills's very close collaborator, who served as his chief of staff, the man responsible for Professor Mills being called President Doolittle. Because I found out that whenever President Mills wanted to do something that Henry John Martin Newman didn't like, he said, "Fifi, let's pray over it." But whenever Fifi wanted to do something that John Henry Martin Newman wanted, it was done immediately. So blame him for Fifi not doing that much, at least in his first year. And blame him also for the high achievements that Fifi had in his presidency. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize another family member called Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. I didn't know this when I met her in Dakar, Senegal, as a young, bright student studying at the University of Dakar. She used to speak French very well. I don't know whether she's forgotten it. It's only later that I found out that she was actually one of my mother's pets. She would come to my mother's shop, bookstore opposite the post office in Kisi, knowing fully well that she'll be getting some toffees from my mother. I was delighted, therefore, when she became the running mate of John Dramani Mahama. She is truly a family member and a sister. There are also a number of greedy bastards here and one that has a special name, the little tweet. I'll be talking about them later. But I would like to thank them, I would like to acknowledge them, because I know that they were very key in Fifi's presidency, good and bad. I unfortunately have not seen the chief greedy bastard here, and that is Senior Ato Ahoy. I've seen Kwame Pepra, I've seen others, but I understand he's not doing that well. I send him my prayers, and please let him know that we love him and will come to visit him very soon. Now, please let me introduce myself. My name is Nana Kojo Esiao Dofo I. the Ebusua Penyin of the Nkommo Trade and Ebusua of Cape Coast. I said it much better than my sister would have said it. I listened to her. She really muffled it up when she gave the vote of thanks the other day. Behind me is the Deputy Ebusua Penyin, Dr. John Atram. I think they chose him only because they wanted a doctor as the representatives of the family. And of course, behind me also is Mr. Ni Ayi Thompson, who is the chairman of the Nkommo Trade and Ebusua. They are standing behind me to make sure that I don't say the wrong thing. If you see that I'm lifting my leg, it's because they've kicked me from behind. But it's all in a normal day work as the chief honcho of the Nkommo Trade and Ebusua. Let me tell you something about the illustrious Trade and Ebusua of Cape Coast that have actually produced a number of people who have made contributions to Ghana. You people boast about the sports prowess of John Fifi Atta Mills. Believe me, he is nothing compared to Africa's #1 goalkeeper, Robert Mensah, of blessed memory. It's a family also that produced the person that I call my nephew with the voice of honey, Amanziba Nat Brew, a great musician. It's a family that produced Ambassador Kwesi Brew, who was not necessarily of the same political persuasion as we are, but was a very prominent person that served Ghana in his role as ambassador. We have in the family also the Adakwes, whose claim to fame is that Kofi Annan of United Nations is the direct maternal uncle of the Adakwes. More recently, in terms of national service, of course, we have the not so honorable, not so Asomdwe, the man who has been in the news all over the place in this last week. By the way, I call him not so honorable, not because of him, but Kwame Pienim told us not to call any member of parliament honorable. And therefore, he's not unique in that sense. Samuel Atta Mills, the nemesis of Kuku Ahido. I am standing before you here because I think I've also made my contributions to this nation. For one, I was a senior presidential economic advisor to President Mills when he was president. As the role of advisor, Of course, I take credit for all of the achievements under President Mills. And I refuse credit for all the failures because he didn't listen to me, which was always the case with Fifi. My other titles is that I was almost the Minister of Defense. And I don't know whether you know it, but I was also almost the ambassador of Ghana to the United States. In fact, it was publicly announced, only for John Dramani Mahama to tell me, well dodged. I have not been able to live it down. The greedy bastards and Ludwig Klotze spend all their time calling me the disappointed defense minister, the disappointed ambassador. But in truth, I was the economic advisor, and that I'm very proud of. Then finally, of course, the illustrious, my brother, John Evans Atta Mills, who we are here to celebrate today. So as you can see, it's a family that has made its contributions, and it's a family that I'm really, really, really proud now to be leading. As a family, we treasure a lot of things. But above all, what we treasure are situations like this, commemorative lectures that remind us of Fifi, who he was, what he stood for, and make us realize that maybe he may be dead in terms of his physical presence, but Fifi will never die. And Fifi lives on. Now, I had really wanted to be the person to give the 10th anniversary lecture. In fact, I had been lobbying Professor Kwamna Hoy to suggest to those in power who were going to nominate the person to make me the person to give the 10th anniversary lecture for my brother. As usual, he promised me that he will do everything that he would do. And I had actually prepared my address when Ludwig Klotze came and told me that it doesn't look good, Cadman. You may not very well be the person to give the lecture. And in anticipation of becoming a Busuapenyin and knowing that I wasn't going to be the one to give the lecture, I was determined that we were going to boycott this lecture if I wasn't the person. Just like we boycotted the other thing, right? And then they told me, we are sorry, but it's Chachu, who doesn't even deserve a second name, who is going to give the lecture. As they say in Fanti, Efize Namsafim. Chachu? They couldn't have made a better choice, Chachu. And I had to call off the boycott immediately. Chachu was with Fifi in 2004 when things didn't go very well for us. Chachu was with Fifi in 2006, I was there, in South Africa, when Fifi was contemplating his future as a politician. Chachu has always been there for Fifi. Chachu did a lot of things that actually, at the time, I didn't realize, but later on, got to know about it. If anybody other than me, of course, is to make the commemorative lecture, it should be Chachu. I don't want to spook you out, but I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you for accepting to come and speak. In that same vein, let me thank the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage. We'll get to that. Why are you so impatient? For organizing the series of regional lectures, and in particular the Accra lecture to commemorate him on his 10th anniversary. You would note that actually immediately after Fifi died, Mrs. Mills and I got together and very rapidly registered the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Foundation in order to get a foot in the door and make sure that we use the foundation to raise resources and funds in order to support initiatives such as that which is being done by the Atta Mills Memorial Heritage. Because for Mrs. Mills and I, it was very important to make sure that Fifi's legacy was not bastardized by anybody, and that Fifi's legacy and the custody of the legacy rested in the hands of the people who truly loved him, who were truly committed to him, and who truly wanted to use his name to advance his ideas and his values and his principles. Now, I'm not told, I've become aware of other initiatives, and I will not beat about the bush. The Atta Mills Institute, run by Koku Anyidohu, and which was responsible, apparently, in mobilizing support for refurbishing Asomdwe Park, I went there yesterday again because I wanted to be sure that I saw what I really think I saw. The Asomdwe Park and the work that was done there, differences, of course, in aesthetics being acknowledged, I'm sorry, is obscene, to use a very strong word. I did not recognize Fifi there. It was the very first time that I went to Asomdwe Park that I was not emotional. The place, of course, is called Asomdwe Park. There are his pictures everywhere, some quotations of him. His name doesn't appear in any of the quotations, except, of course, the logo of the Atta Mills Institute. I saw his grave. There his name appeared a little bit, except that it was spelled John Evans Atta Mills with a hyphen between the two, for somebody who claimed to know him very well, even though the person who has the name himself has never put a hyphen in that name. Otherwise, everything was about them. And they used this so-called refurbishing to promote themselves, to promote their institute, and to promote their paymasters. That's not what Fifi stood for. Fifi hated people who self-promote. In fact, when Fifi said of a colleague that he is full of himself, and he would emphasize the word full of himself, or Infante, meaning he has a foul smell in his nose, then you knew that that colleague has been written off in Fifi's mind, and he would never pay any attention to him because it's all about themselves. Fifi was somebody also who never really took himself seriously. In fact, he was a master of self-deprecating humor. He often laughed at himself because he thought it wasn't necessary to take himself too seriously. But by God, he took Ghana seriously, and I agree with you. And above all, he took Ghanaians very seriously in their future. In view of the fact that Atta Mills Institute is being used as an instrument to sow division, to sow controversy, for self-promotion, as an instrument to insult elders. In my capacity as the oldest living sibling of Professor John Evans Atta Mills, as the person who Professor Mills designated in his will to be the executor of his will and also the custodian of his legacy. And now in my capacity as the Ebusia Penyin of the Nkrumah Chirba Trida Nebusia, the family has decided that we will contact our solicitors to make sure that they explore all avenues to stop the Atta Mills Institute from operating. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. In fact, Chachu, I thought of making a call to you to be part of the team, but I'm told that your record with the current judiciary is not very good. Because of you, there's always the unanimous 7. You may be a legal luminary, but please stay out of it. But finally, we will not just simply rely on the courts. I would like, therefore, to make an appeal to the court of public opinion, which I think is the only court worthwhile. I would like Ghanaians to know that the so-called Atta Mills Institute is unauthorized. It is also unsanctioned. It is unappreciated, and it's most unwelcome. I repeat, I know I'm speaking too long, but I think this is important. I want the Ghanaian public to know that the Atta Mills Institute, so-called, is unauthorized, unsanctioned, unappreciated, unwelcome. May God be with you, my brothers and sisters.